powered by Riverside.
Hello, and welcome into TheSadFan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made us sad. Obviously, you can see we are missing Wes. He is out doing Wes things. He's got a hot date, probably with himself, but that's okay.
With himself and an airplane.
And an airplane, exactly. Josh, to go ahead and let's kick off with what made you sad this week, guest star.
I'm Josh. I am Bizarro Wes. What made me sad was this counts, guys, because esports count as sports. That's all I care about. Anyway, what I'm sad about is that Street Fighter 6 isn't out yet. It's a lot of buzz about the new characters, the new strategies, the new renovations they've made to the gameplay, and it's not out until at least like 3 months from now. I forgot when, but it's going to be a while. So I just keep looking at pictures of Blanca on the YouTube.
Is there not like a beta or anything?
You're a beta. I think they did that and then they cut it off. So I missed my chance for that. Yeah, so they did their beta and now they're going to release it soon. But the characters look so cool. Like, old characters have evolved into different versions, more playable versions. Like Zangief is going to be easier to play as. There's a new character, I think her name is Marissa, and she's like a gladiator Greek woman, and she's a beefcake. Like, beefcake. It's going to be a good game. Can't wait.
Okay. Do you already know who, like, all the best players are as far as those rankings are concerned?
As far as the rankings, no. I actually don't know really any modern pros. Only name I really know is Daigo, and he's actually been featured in a commercial recently. It was kind of weird to see him like, oh, it's Daigo! Like, that's how he was announced. But he's known. If you type in on YouTube Daigo, best ever, whatever, there's this one tournament he was in where he had 0 HP left. He was right there as Ken. He's fighting Chun-Li, and she had, like, a lot of HP. And he just, like, breaks her down, and then she just, like, does her super move where she does the super kicks, and he parries each one. It's like surgical level parries. Like, every single command he had high, low, and then he did his super combo on her, and it was like, what? Like, the whole crowd went crazy because it was like, I mean, it's a sport. That level of excitement only comes from watching someone play a sport. So shut up.
I'm still evolving on this subject, honestly. Because at first, like, esports, I was like, really? Are we really doing this? But I do get it. I do get that there's, like, teams and there's, like, groups that play together. And it does seem interesting. It's probably something I'll never actually really get into just because.
Right.
But I think it's also really interesting that there are the Army has now, like, created an esports team.
Yep.
Like,
for recruiting.
And they're for recruiting, and I'm like, I want to know how this translates to military life, but I don't know. Someone else can fill me in on that.
Pretty well, actually.
Topic,
yeah.
But I know that's
thing.
what you guys do in the barracks during, like, downtime. But I mean,
Wes used to play video games at work.
Using Call of Duty and stuff has been like a really successful tactic for the Army to recruit for a while now, but making the esports team, that's a new level. It's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, it's still a game. I hear what you're saying. It's still a game, but the level of dedication
they're all games. They're all games.
They're all games. So let's not draw a line where we don't have to draw a line. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to be the arbiter of what is and isn't a sport, but I'm just saying that, like, I'm evolving. I'm growing. I'll listen to what you got to say, Josh, because I do think it is interesting, and they are showing it on the Ocho these days, so maybe I should pay a little bit more attention.
So I know that it's a thing. I mean, I remember watching, like, passively, not like, oh my god, I hope they win, but passively watching people play Madden on ESPN. Back in the day for, like, the best Madden player, and thinking to myself when I was a kid and it's all I did with my life, oh, I could beat them. You know, like, but it's all I did. Like, that's the only thing I played, and it's literally like, so that's all I imagine is these folks, but they found a way to get paid without going to tournaments and without being the best because they could just play on like Twitch. And I've thought about it.
Which I will never understand.
I don't
never
get it either.
Twitch culture.
My little brother does.
Or like,
he watches people play games all the time. He doesn't even play that many games anymore. He usually just watches.
I don't get that. I don't understand that. Yeah, it is weird because like that's I liken that to the little kids that enjoy watching the unboxings of things, and I'm like, why is this? How does this have 70,000? Like, don't you want to go actually do something and not watch somebody else have fun? Like watching somebody else has fun has like been it's a new market.
Well, it's new in this market, but watching someone have fun is, I mean, people watch people play sports. It's just a different brain realm. Same ballpark, though. I get it, ballpark sports.
Yeah. So do you feel like you could have ever been as good as the fighter or the player that you just mentioned?
I thought that I was pretty dang good for a long time because I did play Street Fighter. I'd say just as much as you played Madden. I guarantee it. I played a lot of Street Fighter and other fighting games, but there was a point where I started going around saying, I got $20. Like whoever wants to fight me in Street Fighter, I'll come to your house, put $20 down. And I was doing okay, got pretty good. But then I played someone who was in tournaments and I put $20 down and he dismantled me. Like I didn't land a hit on him. Dismantled me.
I've only played Street Fighter in an actual arcade.
Oh yeah.
I've only played like the 8-bit.
That's the pure version. That's the old school.
Yep.
The pizza parlor, right?
Yeah. You gotta play the strange kid.
Yeah, all the new barcades that are coming out, or that have been open for like the last 5-10 years, like those are awesome, a lot of fun.
Yep.
They do need to have an older game section. That's really annoying. Is that in a lot of those barcades, it's all new stuff and stuff to like really get, but they do need to have like kind of so I've been to mostly the Dave and Buster's type stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of more independent.
Yeah, you're right. It is pretty modern. Even like the older games are only like 20-something years old, not like the early 90s games. There's usually always a Simpsons laying around though.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the barcade that I'm thinking of in New York, which I mean obviously a little bit different. They've got all the retro games, and it's a lot more fun, and it's also a lot more simple because there's usually just 2 buttons and maybe a joystick, and that's easier for me to handle.
I was doing so Ninja Turtles. Just so you guys know, if you're Netflix subscribers, if you have the Netflix on your phone that allows you to see the games, they have the Ninja Turtles arcade game available for download to your phone.
Awesome.
So I now have the Ninja Turtles arcade game on my phone.
That's fun.
I love it. No, Josh, I dig what you're saying there, and you're right. It absolutely is a sport. I think Robert Morris University was the first university to offer an esports scholarship. And now everybody's getting into it to attract people to their schools. I mean, and these people have real spendable money, these folks that do esports. Because like I said, they're on Twitch. They're streaming on YouTube. Some of them are sponsored by like Microsoft and Amazon to just play on their networks. Like I think Ninja left Microsoft or left Twitch to go play for Microsoft. Yeah. Fatality. Do you remember that one from back in the day? He was the Mortal Kombat competitive guy. His name was Fatality, and he monetized it.
Cool.
But no, cool. I dig it. I think it's a real sport. I don't think you're far off. But let's go to what real made sports. Chelsea sad.
Let's get into real sports now, Chelsea.
So, I mean, obviously, it's March. Today's the first day of spring as we're recording this. And, my brackets are busted. The women's, the men's. I'm stunned at how much my women's bracket is just dissolved. Like, because I had one that was pretty much straight chalk, and then I had another that was like, let's throw some upsets in there just for fun. Yeah. And I did my research. I did a little bit of homework, and the upsets that happened were just not even the games that I picked to be upsets. It's pretty terrible. And one of my men's brackets is sitting at 18% accuracy right now, which 18%. And that's the one that it's sad, guys. It's really, really sad. And my winners are out. Purdue is out. Arizona is out. One of my brackets, the whole
I saw that.
four is out.
I saw that. I was like, well, she's still got Arizona. The next day comes up. I was like, no,
nope.
she doesn't.
No. And yeah, it's rough. It's really rough out
So
there
in a bracket
for a girls bracket.
When you got a bracket like that, it's just going bad. Is there a point where you're like, you stop paying attention to it, you're done, or do you stick it out to the end, even when you get kicked out?
To the bracket itself, yeah, I've more or less stopped paying attention, and I just am watching myself like tank in the rankings within my games.
Right.
It's just sad, but am I still watching the games? Absolutely.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Though my couch is like, I don't want to be on my couch anymore. It was a lot this past week, and just, sitting through game after game after game. But YouTube TV, which I'm so glad someone turned me onto, did roll out 4-game split screen on my TV, so we were able to go. And my husband was able was watching it with me, and he was actually kind of excited because it meant we often didn't have to watch commercials. We could just flip to the other game that's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty nice, and a lot better than having like 3 laptops and a TV screen like we've done some years.
Like the iPad on the table, the cell phone, the TV.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just having it in one format. I'm pretty excited about it because I think I'm going to keep it until, and this is not an advertisement for them by any means, but during football season. That will also be a fun way to view games, especially until my game comes on, because then obviously I'll just watch that one.
I put that one on the computer screen. Well, the computer's like sitting next to me on the couch. I'll have my main game on the computer screen, and I'll still have Red Zone on and the big TV in the background. I'm a Red Zone crackhead. Josh, I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Oh, I was going to say Red Zone and Season Ticket are going to YouTube TV this year too, apparently.
So I do want to talk about the Fairleigh Dickinsons and the Princetons of the world, and the teams that I didn't think were going to be good that have outperformed where I thought, like the ones I didn't really believe in, But I do find something interesting as far as Josh is concerned, because Josh flies in and flies out as needed, and we really appreciate it. But I'm really curious, Josh, is there any like TV event where you would need multiple screens to watch, like where you'd have different things on like 2 or 3 different screens?
Nope. I was reminded of the old days watching football with my dad and stuff. You'd always have 2 games on and just have the recall button on lock, right? So you just flip over.
Always.
That's the old way, and now the new way is 4 screens, eh? I do like a bunch of screens for when I'm really getting into some art, if it's available, because I'll have multiple reference photos up, and maybe I'll have a show on or some music. But it's nice to have 4 screens for art stuff. But no, I've never had a viewing experience like that.
Okay, I was just curious what the layman would do with that. But I don't know if you've seen this, Chelsea, because I didn't believe in Princeton, and I should have.
No.
The Ivy League always wins a game or 2. And I don't know why I didn't pick the Ivy League.
I don't know. I didn't see them coming. I mean, it's hard for a lot of these small teams that get in, is like 10 seeds or below. It's really hard to. It's really easy to root for them, because it's just like, yes, go little team, go, and I've seen their diehard dedicated fans in the stands. It's great. But
the little engine that could.
Yeah, but from a general perspective, it's like, well, who did they play this season? What was their, game parity amongst, the other bigs? And so when you're ranking them and doing a bracket and things like that, you kind of almost just assume that they are going to have their moment in the round of 64, and then they're going to go home. But it's amazing how many big upsets there were, like the Fairleigh Dickinson and, the Princeton. And, next year...
FAU now?
FAU. We just need to create more brackets, more and more brackets. I'm just going to, generate plenty of them. Yeah.
Build the science behind it. But I'm going to tell you right now, so 68 teams, right? There's 68 teams. I think I have that right. no one knows anything about all
Yeah.
68 teams. All right, you have a couple you know about, but there's people that peddle themselves as expert, and I'm gonna guarantee right now they brushed up on that like the day before they go on set, where they talk
guaranteed.
about it in increments. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll do
because
that.
they follow whatever league or you know group of schools that they know, and they pay attention to other things, but they don't know.
Yeah.
So, and especially with these harder teams, where it's like impossible to find them in general during the regular season on any broadcast. They might not even have like any video of the games really, because production does cost so much. But I mean, Farley Dickinson doesn't even have a band. Like they had to. They
got a DJ.
University of Dayton, yeah, Dayton University or University of Dayton had to actually sit in there and play for them because it's an NCAA requirement that you have a band, like a pep band, and so they
we got a triangle player.
I can break that.
Yeah, the cowbell, exactly. Oh God, Mississippi State. The reason I brought up Princeton Chelsea is because they showed a video of like a couple of schools like going nuts after their team made the Sweet 16, and then they're like Princeton, and it's like there's a bunch of kids in the library. It's completely dark. Like the whole campus is like pretty much a ghost town, and then like you just see kids walking around the libraries studying and stuff. I thought it was so obviously
Nerds.
It's creatively cut. Yeah, but that's exactly what it was.
No, I'm sure that like at some of the bars, you know, the Princeton Club in New York, there was some celebration, some excitement, but yeah, I mean, some of these schools, it's like we've got better things to do than focus on our sports, even though, you know, good for them.
I mean, they don't rely on the sports teams to generate money because they've got all those alumni that they've put through life. Creighton is another team that usually makes some noise that I don't like. I didn't believe in again for some reason because I'm sitting here with like NIL and things like that. These teams have got to get pillaged for all their star players because other teams are going to be able to offer more money. Mm-hmm. And there's Creighton still in the Sweet 16 playing Princeton, which I also was like, there's no way Creighton's that good this year. And there they are, just jumping on up.
Jumping on
up!
I
had some of the same line of thinking, especially like I've been paying a lot of attention to the transfer portal and decommitments and things like that because there is a lot of things happening in the college football space. And it seems to be a lot of money chasing. And, you know, this is kind of what we worried about. We were worried about that it was like a race to the bottom with, you know, who could just straight up buy players. And I guess that's not quite what's happening with men's basketball yet, which is a good thing. It's great to see that, you know, there's still some competitiveness and some, I don't know, maybe they do have just random big money boosters who are able to, you know, convince players to stay. But I mean, that was just another factor into why it was like some of these small schools, I was thinking they're probably not going to be there. But like I said, my bracket's busted, so I guess they're laughing all the way to the 16.
So, Chelsea, what's your opinion on coaches in sports? Well, let's just say basketball in particular. Do you think... Yeah, go ahead. What is your opinion on coaches in basketball? We'll leave it there. I don't want to lead the witness.
General topic.
So... coaches in basketball. There's something about the college basketball coach that is a little bit. I think you got to be a little bit insane because these guys are so like. First of all, just like kind of like the intimacy of the court setting and how close you are to the refs and everything. And I mean, Izzo just absolutely tearing apart refs yesterday and still not managing to get ejected. I don't.
But winning.
But winning. Absolutely. He did win. But I mean, it was so funny because he spent the first, you know, when Michigan State was clearly in the lead, he spent most of his time just chilling on the bench, just looking like calm as could be. But like apparently underneath those feet were paddling because the second Marquette started to catch up, he was the Tom Izzo we all know and loathe. But these coaches are so animated and so I'm surprised we haven't seen more heart attacks on the floor I don't know. Everyone just looks like they've got severe hypertension and are about ready to bust at any moment.
Yeah, some of
that's
them
funny.
are dangerous looking, but then there's other ones that are in like great shape because all they do is scream all day. It's got to be good for the calories.
Yeah.
You know, I would say half of them
was
got to be
also-
psychopaths, wouldn't you? At least half of them.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like, as an interesting contrast, though, to Tom Izzo was Marquette's coach on the other side. During a timeout, he had his players do breathing exercises.
Huh.
Like, so that way they could focus together and, like, come back. And so he was just a very zen.
That's why
like,
Tom
very
Izzo thinks he
intimate
lost.
presence.
And that's
And
why
it
you
was-
lost.
Exactly.
I'm
But
sorry.
it was the comparisons between the two all game were pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I do think that
So I'll
Tom.
take another approach.
I do think the Tom Izzos of the world are gone. It's funny because now I want to say this before I forget. I used to tell people when I was in high school, I used to say, yeah, you know, the mob runs college basketball, right? They were like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, think about it. Rick Pitino, Tom Izzo, John Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski. I was like, it's the mob, bro. And I would have people like literally start to think about it because I would just start naming off all these names, and they'd be like, "What is this guy talking about?" I'm like, just think about it. Just think about it. They're all the best coaches.
Illuminati.
Yeah. Tell me,
Bobby
Patino, Calipari, and Izzo don't sound like straight mobsters. But I asked you that question because Arkansas knocked off Kansas, and Bill Self missed that game, and he missed the game prior as well. I think he has a
Right.
medical issue going on. So that's why I was trying to see how you felt about the impact that a coach makes on the team.
So I did miss that game. I had a few, I actually had a life to live outside of the tournament. I know, shocking. But yeah, I mean, the coaches really do set the tone for a team, and it's also really strange, I think, just from a personal perspective of not having your coach there during like a big moment, no matter what the sport is, because that's the person who's always kind of giving you, even if you know your plays, even if you know your stuff, and you've got like assistant coaches, you still got one main person who's there, there. If there's any doubt in your mind about what to do, like, should I do like this play or that play? Should I like keep playing through foul trouble? Should I go rough on this guy, or should I, make sure I'm doing zone instead of man-to-man coverage? Whatever it is, that person is there making choices for you with conviction. And so I think it does kind of make you like doubt yourself, even if, it's a player-led team, as we like to call them, where it's kind of a little bit more the guys on the floor making the calls. Like, the coach still really matters. And to see that him like out for a medical reason too, and all the concern that would be there from the players, I don't want to, it's going to sound bad when I say this, but it's a distraction, right? From just like the game. And it's a totally rational distraction, but it does take away the focus from the game a bit.
Josh, did you want to add something there?
No. I'm all with all that. Yeah. It's a distraction. It has to happen, and there's nothing to be ashamed of or scoff at, but you're right. Yeah.
So maybe it did impact them. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just refreshed the page and I saw that Rick Pitino is going to St. John's.
St. John's. St. John's, yeah. That guy, man, I don't know. From spending a minute in heaven with a waitress in a bathroom at a restaurant to getting eliminated. You didn't know that?
I don't want to
You
know.
never heard that story?
I don't want to know.
The Minuteman. He took a waitress to the bathroom at a restaurant. It lasted a
So
minute.
this guy's
reportedly.
changing schools? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has he done it?
Yeah, but
before?
he was kicked out of college basketball. He was kicked out of college basketball for like 2 years. Yeah. For like 2 years, I want to say the ban was, and then he came back. He was kicked out because like it was found that Louisville players had like prostitutes in the dorms to recruit players and things like it was like a lot.
Cool.
It was that, it was bribery, it was a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah, bribery. Because we can't just pay them normal wages. Sheesh.
And then we're going to beat up on the players for wanting to transfer schools because they're not loyal,
Right.
but the coaches can go wherever they want. But
Loyal to what?
that
Organization.
Loyalty.
Loyalty's
No,
so
I'm talking
silly.
about fans, which It, especially in today's world, especially like, here's the thing with a lot of the fans, I'm not going to lie. I always get frustrated with fans because I'm like, you're sitting here acting like you wouldn't have taken the money and you know you would. Like, you're mad that person, it's just jealousy at the end of the day is really what it is. You're just that they have this opportunity.
Right. And if I'm in Illinois and I'm doing okay in Illinois, but I get a chance to go to Honolulu, guess what? I'm going to go to Honolulu.
That would be a weird transfer, I'm not going to lie. Usually it'd be from Honolulu to Illinois for basketball. But
but I'm saying location is more important than loyalty to the team or my teachers or whatever.
You're saying what I've been saying for a lot of years. I don't understand how, like, Miami, Florida State, USF, University of Southern Florida, Hawaii University don't have, like, the best athletics programs and the most money coming in. Because why would you not want to go there and be on the beach and go to school for the same accreditation? Like, I'll never get it.
I mean, is the only other motivation, the only other possible motivation is this one school wins games, and that's where I'm going to go because I want to win games. Like Honolulu, maybe the record's not as good, or is that
they're
a correlation?
In a lower league. Yeah, they're in a lower league, and they're not as good. But they're not as good because nobody goes there, which is weird. If more players would go there, they'd be better. It's like if all the great players were like, hey, let's go spend 3 years in Hawaii, Hawaii would have the best team in the nation.
Yeah. We should start a movement. Hashtag it.
So I'm going to say what made me sad this week, and that way we can get into two of our main topics outside of the tournament. What made me sad, and I'm just going to call it the "Are we still doing this shit?" thing with Jeff Molina, who Wes, myself, and our former producer Taylor talked about a while back, because he came out and he did a big statement on homophobic people judging him and being mean about the UFC celebrating Pride Month. And they were all over him and mean to him because he wore the Pride kit out to his fight. And he's like, man, I don't know what to tell you. These threads are dope. And he was right. Like the Pride stuff is always really cool looking. I don't care I do care what side of the fence you are, because odds are I don't want to be your friend if you're on the wrong side of the fence. But no matter what you root for, I will tell you, every single time I see a Pride kit, I'm like, that's pretty dope. Like, it's always really cool looking.
It's not feminine to love colors and also support other people, even if it's not something you would choose for yourself. It's not a feminine choice. It is a humanistic choice, and everybody loves colors.
Colors is great. It's so fun. That reminds me of one of our former co-hosts or whatever, guest host, Lucci. He posted his grappling tournament on Instagrams and Twitter. Yeah. And everybody was in camo jeans or shorts and black hoodies, like the whole mass of people. Not one blue shirt in the crowd. It was amazing. People are scared of color. Yeah.
No, I don't get it. And the reason I said, are we still doing this shit, is because Jeff Molina in his press conference was asked about it. And he's like, why do we still care about this? And he said, why are we still doing this shit? And I'm the same way, and I don't get it. And I heard a terrifying story from a coworker about something that happened to a friend of hers in Mississippi. And I'm just like, why does this still exist? And it pissed me off because Jeff Molina, who I think is a really up-and-coming fighter. I think he's going to be really good. I was really proud of him for taking that stance as somebody. I love all the events. I love, like I already said, all the threads, all the wardrobe. And my uncle, who helped my mom kind of raise me, was in the picture a lot. My mom and my father raised me, was also gay and introduced me to that community at a very young age. So I've never really gotten the hate, because I've always been like, you don't have to do it. You know that, right? Like, it's fine. Like, and no one's clamoring up your tree. You're not hot. No, I'm just kidding. But it's I just have never understood it. It's always confused me. Like, why do we have to because imagine, you like G.I. Joes? Loser. God, you suck. Can you imagine that your whole life? Like, and you're just sitting there wondering, like, I like G.I. Joes. I don't get it. How did this affect you?
Yeah. Or imagine getting death threats over something as inane as that.
as who you choose to love or how you choose to love or who you choose to be friends with. It blows my mind. And what blew my mind is somebody outed Jeff Molina for being bisexual. And I think that really sucks because I've known a lot of people. I think Josh has told some stories too about some people he's known that like didn't want to come out. Like they didn't know how. And I've known people, and it's a really important part of their journey is that their choice to come out when they choose to come out.
Right.
And they outed him with something that I'm also like, why does this exist with revenge porn? Leading him to have to make a statement.
It's just so sad.
And I can't speak to it from every angle except for what you just said, Chelsea. Like, it's so sad. Like, what could they have possibly done to you to make you want to tear them up this way or do this to them? What could it have been? And I liken it, and I know it's not as the finality's not the same as murder, but it could be because a lot of people with you idiots, like women, have committed suicide due to revenge porn. Gay men are the highest as far as suicide is concerned. Story. Yeah. And why are we still doing this? Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, I was just jumping on your coattails there. It's, that outing people and the revenge porn, it's a very common story. Like you find them on the side of a bridge someday. People's lives get ruined for that stuff.
Yeah, especially with someone who is, as far as publicly goes, was not out yet. I mean, that is such a violation, and because it is so dangerous to be a public figure who, especially in this specific sport that does have a plethora of toxic masculinity around.
Yeah.
And very conservative fan base that isn't wholly accepting of this. I wouldn't have been surprised if his plan was to, fight, and then when he retires, to be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's so degrading, and it wasn't even just like someone just announced it for him. It's that they went this far.
Yeah, they went all the way.
I can't imagine. I had someone threaten to release some stuff, but I actually don't think they even had anything. I think they were literally just photoshopping my face on stuff. But I had to notify my employer. I had to notify all of my friends. I had to just tell everyone, look, something may be coming. It isn't. Yeah. It isn't me. I don't think it is. And
I've seen those posts before too. Yeah.
It's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying because it feels like
it's heartbreaking.
Even if people don't know the context that it was released without your permission, which all power to the people who do post themselves online in their own forms. That's great. But the key thing here is consent. Doing it without consent is such a violation. And I don't understand how not all 50 states have revenge porn laws on their books.
Yeah.
Because
don't get me into this. You're going to kill me right now because I'm going to go right at Florida. I'm going to go right at Tennessee. I'm going to go right at Texas. And I'm already on edge.
The thing is even if it's, straight revenge porn or whatever, it could still happen to anyone at any time. And especially with AI now, some of this Photoshop stuff might
be deep fake
more and more realistic. Exactly, the deep fake. So everyone should be on alert. Everyone should
absolutely.
And
you
no
could destroy
one should
someone.
Be cool with it.
And it's so pathetic.
It's pathetic.
It's so pathetic. So I salute Jeff Molina for coming out and making his own statement. I'm glad he got a lot of love from that too. I'm sure he got some just terrible people in there, but what I was reading was a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of sympathy and empathy. But I don't know. I felt so bad when I read the whole story. I was like, geez, I just can't imagine you wanting to, I don't know. It's sociopath, right? To destroy every part of someone and make them feel like their life is over. And I think we just need to rally around these people too, to remind them hey, dude, this sucks. We're going to do everything we can to prevent it. The more people that don't watch it, the faster it goes away. And your life's not over. Your life's not over. It does not define you as a person.
Let's go. We're not messing around with that.
So good for him. let's go to Ja Morant and his interview, and we're gonna tiptoe here because we don't have the legal coverage that a lot of companies have. I will say, I'll lead us off by saying that interview felt very insincere, and I did not like that he continuously smirked and dodged questions. Chelsea?
Yeah, I agree, and this is something that is just so hard to cover from just a sports show perspective without any like actual psychologist or anything like that. The fact of the matter is that he did this interview after what, like eight days after his incident.
Yeah. Well, 8 days after 8 days of therapy. After 8 days of therapy.
Okay, so there's a lot that needs to happen for this kid or for this guy, and really breaking down and deconstructing what has happened in his life to get him to the point where he's at the strip club with guns that may or may not be his and kind of going wild. Like, that's going to take a lot to unpack.
Also, shame on the strip club for releasing that photo of him. I'm sorry, but I know they made a ton of money off that, but that was so bleeped up that they released, because that was probably the worst photo they could have found. And I was like, all right, I know what happens in clubs. We didn't need this. We already saw his Instagram.
Yeah. And we could also kind of form a mental picture. But the actual singing it was a little bit much. But back to his interview, there really is something that comes off so insincere. Like, this isn't like he came out and talked about this in a real in-depth conversation 3 months later or 6 months later. At some point where he's had that time to really self-reflect. And it just seemed like, okay, I've done a little bit of therapy. I did a little bit of Reiki. I did a little bit of breathing exercises. I've checked these boxes. Check. I'm cured.
I'm better.
And
that's kind of what it was, Josh. You actually kind of hit the nail on the head. Go ahead, Chelsea.
This sounds like, like when it just seems like it was a checklist that he was trying to hit. And he was like, okay, I've done these things, so come accept me for who I am now, because I've done the work. And he even said, I've put in the work. And I'm sorry, a week isn't the work. A week is a start in the right direction.
If you've ever been to therapy.
No, I mean, therapy is a lifetime thing for, I think, almost anyone on earth. But maybe look at it from the perspective of a super athlete, right? Like, cool. Yeah, my brain's fine. I guarantee it. I think I know what my brain is like. I did 8 days. We're good. Let's get back to the gym or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just have that mentality
even if it was
control.
Every day for 8 days, it's still just the beginning.
Yeah.
Start. And that's something that should have been made very clear with his therapist or psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever. It's the start. And I don't know. I'm just gonna give the guy a couple pieces of corn. He's real corny.
Yeah.
A couple of corns.
I'm gonna reserve. Go ahead, Josh. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna reserve judgment as well. Chelsea, I will say this, and so the audience, in the moment, I want to see where this goes, because I don't think this story's written.
No,
I hope it is. I've already said he's my favorite player to watch, but after seeing that, I was like, oh no, man.
Even if it's a complete U-turn, we're gonna need some time to go ahead and say, like, okay, like maybe he has continued discovering himself and really kind of calming down. But that's still part of this, the pieces to be written.
Yeah.
There's more wild incidents, which I'm a little bit afraid of. But yes, I hope that he gets it together, because he is a fantastic player. He has a lot of potential, and he could be, an actual role model for kids.
Really quickly,
from your mistakes.
I want everybody to know what he was charged with before the final incident that sent him to his indefinite suspension and the therapy. First incident, 17-year-old kid over at his house playing basketball. There was a kerfuffle, is what we'll call it. where there was a basketball thrown, and the 17-year-old was reported to have a knot on his head from a punch thrown by Ja Morant. Ja Morant denied ever punching the kid. And also the kid said that he flashed a gun at him. Ja Morant also denied that allegation. Next, his little sister called them because there was some bullying supposedly going on or some picking on. He showed up there with a bunch of his guys, his friends, to confront this. He responded to that in the interview with, "That's my little sister, that's my family." He never really answered the question about why did you need that type of force? Why did you show up like that? And the last incident before the strip club incident was his mother had an altercation with I believe it was a Foot Locker employee, and she called Ja, and Ja showed up with all of his guys to confront the single one Foot Locker employee. So in being asked that question again, he said, "That's my mom. What do you want me to do?" Not actually answering the question about what was going through his head, what happened, what was the actual cause of the incident. So we'll see. That's why I'm reserving judgment. Really quick, I just want to touch on some good news, and then we got to jump. The women's team had a big win. They jumped from $30 million to $30 million prize money for the FIFA World Cup to $110 million for the FIFA World Cup. However, it is still falling short of the men's by quite a bit. So it's a step towards equality, but we're not quite there yet. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Right. I was going to say, let's make sure we're clear. This is the women's national soccer team.
Yeah.
And
it's the whole cup. It's the whole World Cup, too. It's not just that.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But it's based on the Megan Rapinoe and all of the women on the previous U.S. women's national team.
Yeah, Christina
really
Press.
that really lobbied for this and basically had a major victory in a big way here. And yes, going from 30 million to 110 million, it seems like just incredible. Like, wow, they've quadrupled the prize money.
About $1 million.
$110 million is exactly 25% of the men's payout. Exactly. There's no like
so weird.
a formula for revenue or for media, for viewership or anything like that. It is just 25%.
I can't believe they did that.
$40 million is the men's payout, $110 million for the women's, and it is a huge step in the right direction, but man, it has got to be still so embittering to see that you have been stamped 1/4 of a man in terms of what you are owed as a payout as a professional.
But no, you're absolutely right. And we were talking in the production meeting about like they couldn't have put like 110.5 or 112 million. It was exactly, and I was like, I feel like they kind of knew what they were doing. Like it was.
Oh, absolutely. They knew exactly what they were doing.
But it is a big win, so we want to celebrate the big win for the women's sports in our life. Congratulations. I think you wanted to talk about Sabrina Ionesco's shoe, but we are out of time. But congratulations to Sabrina Ionesco. That was a while back. You wanted to bring that up, and I apologize. I never gave you a shot.
That's okay.
That's on me. But yes.
Very cool. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, we were all happy about that at the TheSadFan that she got her shoe. And then I was like, Brianna Stewart has one too. And you were like, I'm going to buy that one too.
All
right. Thank you so much for joining us here on the TheSadFan. We really appreciate you all. Remember, you can get to us at the TheSadFan Cast. You can reach me at TheSadFan12. And you can find us on YouTube at the TheSadFan Podcast Network. TheSadFan is all one word. Josh, thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Yeah.